everyone. Welcome to Gardening for Better Health. This is Henry B. 723 coming to you today from my kitchen. I hope everyone there is doing well. We are all doing just great here. I wanted to share something with you that I have been experimenting with, and that is dehydrating my food. I looked into several different types of dehydrators because there are a lot of them on the market, different sizes, different racks, a lot of different features that they have depending on the model that you choose. And so I initially chose a model that's called Ostba, O-S-T-B-A. And it's a little small dehydrator. I tried doing some things in that one, and it was, how can I put it? It was slow. Now I know with dehydrators, it takes a lot of time to actually dehydrate your food, depending on how thick the food is that you're dehydrating and the consistency and things like that. But I tried dehydrating tomatoes with that. I dehydrated some peaches with that, and I dehydrated jerky. Now, the book that comes with the Ostba brand has a lot of different recipes in it, and I decided to try some of their recipes. This is the book that came in the Ostba, and inside it was talking about jerky, and I said, well, with jerky, I like different types of jerky. It's easy to carry if you're, say, driving down the street or if you go camping or whatever. So I decided to try to dehydrate some jerky because it's portable. So I started with, they have different kinds. I didn't start with the beef jerky. I'll try that on a different recipe. But I started with the Candied sweet and spicy bacon. And they have their recipe here. I dehydrated some of that. It was absolutely delicious. The problem was, the book says it should only take 6 hours. That bacon was not dehydrated until 26 hours later. Did you hear me? 26 hours for something that the book says should only take 6. So at this point, I'm thinking, well, there must be something wrong with the dehydrator that they sent me because it's not working properly. Okay, it's taking 26 hours to do what the book says should only take 6. And so I said, okay, I know that the bacon is thick. They tell you to buy thick bacon to dehydrate, which is what I did. And I know that with bacon, it has grease in it and whatnot. So I said, okay, that might have some effect on it. But they knew all of that when they said it should only take 6 hours. So I was kind of disappointed. The jerky was great, 26 hours later, but it shouldn't take 26 hours to do anything. I could walk from here to in New Jersey in 26 hours. So I said, okay, I think I need to try a different dehydrator. I read more reviews on the Ostba, and nobody was saying anything bad about it, but it only had so-so reviews when I bought it. So I said, well, I'm gonna have to test it against another dehydrator to see if there's really something wrong with it. And I said, okay, Amazon Prime sale happened, and they put an Excalibur dehydrator on sale, which was, now I'll tell you this, the Excalibur will never be as cheap as the Ostba, but it was a pretty good percentage off this Excalibur that I looked at. So I said, well, I'll test them against one another. So I bought the Excalibur, and It's a 10 tray Excalibur dehydrator, and I haven't used it yet. I did eat up the rest of the bacon because the bacon jerky was really good. The flavors were just outstanding from the recipe that I used. So I said I'll try this with some more bacon jerky, and I'll put some of the bacon in the Astaba and some of the bacon in the Excalibur, and that will let me know which one works better, because if the Excalibur dehydrates it in much less time than Astaba, then I can do something else with this Astaba. I might send the Astaba back because it takes so long. Everybody that I've talked to who dehydrates, they say, well, you know, you really can't just pinpoint a time that it's going to be ready. It's ready when it's ready. But I'm busy. I just don't have time to be waiting 26 hours for something to get ready. So I'm going to try this experiment, and I wanted to take you along with me while I do this. And I have to do it in stages because with the bacon jerky, you have to mix up your ingredients, and you have to go ahead and put your bacon in that ingredient, and it has to sit overnight. And then the next day, you can put it in your dehydrator. So that's what I'm about to do now. I would suggest that you stick with me. It's going to be a bit of a longer video because you have to do things in steps. But stick with me and see how this experiment turns out so that I can find out if the Astaba dehydrator is okay, or if I need to kick it to the curb and just use the Excalibur. So let's get started. I'll tell you what this recipe calls for, and this is what it looks like. Okay, it looks just like that when it comes out of the dehydrator. It looks very tasty. It's got a burst of different flavors that have marinated in that sauce. When you put it in the refrigerator overnight, it marinates, and when you cook it, it tastes absolutely delicious in the dehydrator. So I'm gonna make some more of this. So I'll tell you what I'm about to do. We're gonna do, it says start with 10 strips of bacon. So we're gonna do the bacon first. And if you can see this bacon, it's the brand doesn't really matter. They just said make sure it's thick bacon. I got this bacon from my local Sam's Club. So we're going to take out 10 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we're done with that. Put this over here, and I'm going to rinse my hands over here. My hands were clean when I started, but when I picked up that bacon, of course the bacon has some bacon grease on it, so I needed to get that off my fingers. So we'll start out with these 10 pieces of bacon. And it says you can cut them in half or in thirds. I'm gonna cut them in thirds. And it really turned out well last time, because last time I didn't do them all in thirds. I did some halves and some thirds. But I think I like the shorter pieces better. And one thing about this bacon jerky I found that when I eat it, the jerky keeps you from getting hungry as quickly. It's a snack that fills you up, even though it's not a lot of food. So I like that about the bacon jerky. What about you? Have you all tried making your own jerky? Jerky is pretty expensive in the store, and especially depending on where you buy it. If you try to buy jerky from some of the hunting stores or where you buy sporting goods items from, they sell jerky, but it's at a premium price. And then in the stores, grocery stores, when you buy jerky, they'll give you a packet that is so thin until you don't even know if you had any jerky, but when the package is empty, it's like, that's all that was in here? My goodness. So the thick sliced bacon, you know that you've had a snack when you eat it. All right, so that's the bacon cut up. I can ditch this knife now. I'm gonna rinse I'll still rinse my hands because it's slippery. Because what we need to do next, we need to take this ingredients for the jerky and put it in a bowl. So let's get busy doing that. Now, it says I need to put 3 tablespoons of soy sauce in this bowl. So we'll get busy doing that. Can you see it? This way. All right. That's our 3 tablespoons of soy. Three tablespoons of brown sugar. And I keep my brown sugar after it's opened in this little Ziploc bag. So we need 3 tablespoons. One of the things I noticed with the ingredients, first of all, while you're working with this, the aroma is amazing. It makes you want to, oh, let me hurry up and get this done. This smells wonderful. So we'll do this one. We'll stick the brown sugar back in its own little Ziploc bag. Okay, our next ingredient, 2 tablespoons of garlic chili sauce. Let me tell you about this garlic chili sauce. It was very difficult finding garlic chili sauce in the store. I had to go to 3 different stores to find this garlic chili sauce because it's not as common of an ingredient as you would think. But I finally did find it. And there's another one that I'll tell you about that was really hard to find too. Belle. My cat is bothering my bird. Excuse me a second. Come from over there. Usually she doesn't harass the bird, but because I'm busy, she decided that she was going to go over to my bird's cage and sit down in front of the cage and just stare at him. And so he was flapping his wings at her to tell her to get away. And 1 second. I'm gonna get you. Stop that. Leave him alone. Stop it. I would pick her up and show her to you, but I'm dealing with food and I don't want her cat hair getting in things right now. So, but at some point I'll introduce her to you. Let's see. The garlic chili sauce, and that is 3 tablespoons. Well, that's not going to work. This is what the garlic chili sauce looks like. It looks amazing. I don't know if you can see that. It looks delicious. It's in its own little syrup here. And it has a very unique flavor. We'll do 2 teaspoons because the tablespoon would not fit in that jar. And it's a bit sticky. That sauce that it's in is a bit sticky. But it's a sticky sweet type of ingredient. But it gives it wonderful flavor. So we've got the 2 tablespoons of the garlic chili sauce. So actually with the spoon that I used a teaspoon. So I need to do another one. We can try this one. 2 teaspoons equal a tablespoon. So I put 2 in there already. I need to put another 2. Here we go. And that's our garlic chili sauce, which gives it a wonderful, wonderful flavor. So let's look over here. 2 teaspoons of sesame oil. So our sesame seed oil is here. And 2 teaspoons of sesame seed oil. And last but not least, 2 teaspoons of mirin. Now I want to talk to you about this mirin. I had a hard time finding mirin. I had never heard of mirin. I had never had a recipe asking for mirin. I didn't know where mirin came from. And it's like, what in the world is mirin? And I had to go to several stores to find this too. So I finally did find it. This is the mirin. That's what it looks like. And it is actually a Japanese sweet cooking seasoning. So, it does add a very unique flavor to this recipe. So it's saying I need to put 2 teaspoons full of mirin in. So we got 1, 2. All right. But yes, that was very interesting, trying to find this ingredient that I had never used before. And the people in the store asked me, well, what does it look like? I don't know. I've never seen it before, but it is a seasoning that you cook with. So we went round and round and throughout the store, and I went to several stores, and then finally somebody had it, and I was able to get it. So with this mirin, now we have to combine these ingredients and And that's what we're going to do here. This is what it looks like in the bowl. Okay. So we're going to combine this. And really, even after you stir it, it looks wonderful. Look at that. You can see that in there. So we've got that combined. The next step is to put this bacon in here. Well, I'm going to put a little bit in here first to be in the bottom of the bag. I'll put some bacon in. Put a little bit more to help it coat better, rather than put it all in at one time. Put some more. Even though this is a bit more work than I often have to do to make a meal, it's worth it. It is really worth it. And now we'll pour the rest of it in there. Get all of that out. Okay. Now, we can do this little Ziploc bag, seal it shut. I'm going to rinse my fingers, because a lot of this is very sticky and we had oil involved as well. So I'll rinse my fingers. And now we've got this sealed. I'm going to combine it in this sauce. Shake it really good. Coat the meat well. And when I put this in the refrigerator, I'll come back every few hours or so, and I'll give it another shake and stir to make sure that all of the meat is well coated in here, so that by tomorrow all of these flavors will have penetrated the bacon so well that I can dehydrate it and taste each and every one of these ingredients that we put in here. I would highly recommend, if you have a dehydrator, that you try this recipe. I didn't know that I was going to like it so well, but I really like this dehydrated bacon with these flavors in it. So that's it. I'm going to let some of this air out. And then this is going to go in the fridge to marinate overnight. So thank you for sticking with me this far. Please stick through to the whole video so that you can see how this comes out. I'll see you tomorrow when this is finished marinating. But it'll seem like 1, 2, 3 to you. Okay, everyone, it's been 6 hours since I started the candied sweet and sour bacon in these two dehydrators. The instructions on this dehydrator says it's only supposed to take 6 hours for this to dehydrate. So now we're going to put it to the test. I'm going to open the Astaba first to see if that one is ready according to the instructions in their recipe. So let's take a look. This one is the Astaba, and we're going to open this up and take a peek to see what the progress is. All right, this is what it looks like on the tray. I'm going to put it over here and let it sit for a minute to cool down just a little bit before I manipulate the bacon to see what the status is. So it is over here on this tray. All right, I'm going to pick this one up. It's pliable, but it's jerky, and you can't really pull it apart too easy. It looks like. Let me taste it. This one is almost ready. It's not quite chewy enough, but it's getting there. Okay, I'm going to slide this one back in the dehydrator. The other tray is not quite as chewy as this one is. If you look at this one, it's really not, it's still too pliable. So I'm going to put this one back in. So now let's open this one. This one is the Excalibur. This is what this tray looks like. I'm going to let it sit here for a second to cool down. Well, I tell you, when I dehydrated the bacon before in this Astaba, it was not close to being this done at 6 hours. That's why it ran and ran and ran, and it took way too long for it to dehydrate the first time. So this time, after 6 hours, it's almost ready. I just need to put a little bit more time on it and check it again. Let's see what's the status on this bacon that came out of the Excalibur. Okay. Let's pull this, see if I can pull it apart. It's pliable still. Pull it apart. It's got a nice chew. It's got a real nice chew. But I think I'm going to let them go for another hour because it's not quite firm enough. So I'll do that and I'll come back. Well, everyone, the Candied sweet and sour bacon jerky has run for another hour. Let's check it and see if the texture has improved and make a note of whether or not this is now ready. We'll start with the Astaba first. This is what this tray looks like. And we'll try this piece It's still pretty pliable. Pull it apart. It's got really good resistance to being pulled apart. Let me take a small piece. Nice, firm chew. That's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. So I'm going to try the other tray. And that's what this one looks like. Still pliable. Good resistance when you go to pull it apart. This one is ready too. Now let's check the Excalibur. This is what this tray looks like. And this piece of bacon, it's more pliable than the other one that was in the Ostable, and it pulls apart easier. It's good. It's not as firm as the one that's in the Ostable, but it's really got a nice chew to it. And with this bacon, the flavors in this bacon make it taste really, really good. You can taste each spice. And because it's bacon and it's got that little bit of fat still in it, well, a lot of fat really, but as you chew it, you get a squish in your mouth that is just exploding with flavor. So I highly recommend trying this recipe if you have a dehydrator at home. Let me check this second tray. That's what it looks like. We'll try this piece. It's pliable. Some resistance when you pull it apart. And it's good. I like the fact that these two are a little bit different. This has got a little bit less of a chew, but it's still good and it's still ready. So in conclusion, the first time that I did this recipe in the Ostable, something was definitely wrong and it didn't heat well. The reason it took so long. It took a total of 7 hours, even though the recipe book said 6. It really took 7 hours for this Ostable to give me a really good jerky chew. This ran for the same amount of time, 7 hours, and it wasn't as resistant to being pulled apart, and the chew is not as firm, but it's still good. So I really am glad that I tried this experiment between the two. It let me know that what I suspected, there was something wrong with this Ostable when I did it the first time. So I'm going to enjoy these, and I really hope that you try this recipe. If you are dehydrating yourself, let me know what you dehydrate and what you use it for. Are you hiking? Are you storing it long-term storage? Let me know how you dehydrate and how you use your food that's dehydrated. In the meantime, thank you for following me to the end. Like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.